What is up, guys? I'm here with my brother Austin. We are at the Scheels Ice Fest, and we're gonna hang out and make a video today. The goal is to teach people how to film their hunting and fishing, give them some tips and tricks to use GoPros and cell phones. So this is gonna be the only time we use the big camera, and the rest of everything else that you see is going to be things that most of the time you carry around in your pocket. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, so I may have lied. I know that I said I wasn't gonna use the big camera, but I'm gonna use it one more time to show you this apparatus that we're going to use to show the difference in video and what you can get between GoPro and the phone. So like this is Austin's playing with it. Let's see. Nice, so we got a homemade Steadicam that's got the phone on top, the Hero 7 on bottom, and we're gonna go get some random videos with some different settings. I'm gonna put a lav mic on so that I can talk through what we're doing and you can actually hear it, just because this place is pretty busy and I don't want to be super loud. Okay, let's go make some fun videos. Okay, so now what I've got is you guys hooked up to this external, it's a lav mic, and we're gonna talk quick about the difference between phone mic and the GoPro mic. It's kind of tough because there's a lot of music in this place, and so what you'll hear here is the difference between having like the ambient sound and then having stuff being canceled from the lav mic. These things aren't super expensive either. You can buy the mic for like 20 bucks and hook it into your phone, and that will collect your audio for you as well. So if you don't like this, which is going to be, now I'm using the sound from the phone, or this, which is now me using the sound from the GoPro, then you can always invest in one of these little lav mics, and those will always help you out. The second thing is I have you set up in a fish shack, and it is pretty dark in here. And what you notice most of the time is that GoPros struggle with low light. And the phone is pretty give and take, but sometimes it actually works pretty good. So that's one thing that you have to worry about, I guess, or work on, is that if you are trying to film in something that's less than perfect lighting, GoPros don't do a fantastic job, but the phones, they do better. Now I'm curious because I see a light switch. It's not plugged in. Okay, so that's completely useless for this demonstration, but that's going to be the difference between the audio for all three cameras, or I guess the two cameras in this. Now we're going to go out and test the wide angle, because both of these things are capable of doing a more wide angle. And then we'll also test the slow-mo. So we are going to record everything in 60 frames per second. I'll go over to the editing software. We'll slow it down because we export everything in 24. So that'll give you about 40% speed, which is a pretty decent slow-mo. So let's go do that. Okay. So again, for the sake of audio, we're going to use the lav mic because it's super loud in here. What we have is wide on the GoPro and wide angle on the phone. And my phone is a Samsung S10, which, I mean, we filmed with an S8 too, and it worked just fine. What we're going to do is just do some random pictures and video of this side by side and do like some pans, and we'll see, you know, just what angle difference there is. And the lighting in here again isn't super great, so you might notice the difference between the grainy video in a GoPro versus the more sharp video of the Samsung. You see it a lot with GoPros. They do fantastic in high level light. They're awesome for outside and they're really durable, but in low light they tend to struggle. So let's do some video of this side by side. Okay, so there's some test footage with that. I want to talk about something really quick. I mentioned that GoPros tend to be a little grainy, and I do that on purpose. In the settings of the GoPro, you're allowed to do something which is just change the range of something called the ISO. And the ISO is basically like how much extra light and how the GoPro was going to let in. And so what tends to happen is if you're in a darker situation, it opens that up and the video itself becomes much more grainy. And so what I usually do is I try to keep it low. I think I have the minimum set at 100 and the max set at 400, which keeps the picture a little bit more sharp, but it makes the video much more, we'll just say, dark. The phone, I know you can download external apps that allow you to do that, but for us, we just run the normal settings and it seems to look pretty good. So now what we're going to do is go find somewhere awesome and do some, oh, somebody's at our booth. We're going to do some slow-mo. All right, let's go. Okay, so now we're going to test the potential for slow-mo with both of these cameras. Again, everything that we're filming today is in 1080p. Both cameras can do 4K, but most people aren't shooting in 4K. They don't care so much about high definition. These are both in like their linear mode, which is like their normal angle, and we're shooting in 60 frames per second. So what we do then is we put that into the computer, the editing software, and we slow it down to 40%. And that means that when we export in 24 frames per second, which is just a common video format, we'll say. Yeah, and this stuff is completely unnecessary. Like, you don't have to do this if you want to film your own stuff, but people like slow-mo. And once you start doing it one way, you tend to start getting a little more creative, and these are ways that you can be creative. The other part is, like, we've got up on that thing up there a GoPro, and it's doing a time lapse. And that's another thing that puts together something called B-roll, which means, like, if you're filming for fun, you don't need it. But if you're filming because you want to put together like a cool little video, film B-roll. That's like random stuff. You can do like a montage, or you can get a picture of or a video of, you know, you getting your fishing stuff ready, all of it, whatever it is. It's just little things that help break up the scene and break up the monotony of somebody talking in the screen. So let's go over and play around with slow-mo. I'm just gonna drop some stuff and kind of show you how slow-mo works, okay? So you've got 60 frames per second, which means that every single second your camera's taking 60 pictures, which means, like, when I drop these, you're gonna catch that 60 times in that 1 second. What that allows you to do, because a nice smooth video is still 24, you can slow this way, way down, okay? Yeah, it's really quite simple, actually. Let's see, we'll wait until we can find something like super fun to throw up in the air. But another thing that lets you do is when you shoot in 60, you can do those like smooth shots and those close-up shots and things and slow it down just a little bit, and that tends to make things look a little bit more on the like film side rather than video or just raw shot side. I'll be completely honest, the phone is winning when it comes to potential for slow-mo, hands down over the GoPro, only because of the selective focus that you can get with it. Again, the GoPro is cool because you can do anything with it. You can film an entire day out with it, but having the phone in your pocket does make it, I mean, it's convenient, it's there, it's easy, and you can always shoot something with it. All right, so one thing that you might have noticed is that the color is way off, and it's a lot more dingy when it comes to the GoPro. And GoPros, I mean, that's just how they work. They like to collect things, especially in the settings that I do. I keep the sharpness way down because I like to do things called color correction. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go around filming just a couple different things and show you some very basic, you know, what color correcting looks like on the GoPro if you wanna take it that step farther. All right, so we're wrapping it up here today. Hopefully you learned something about filming with your phone and your GoPro. We did a lot of stuff, it's a lot of information, but hopefully this can be a start. Now what we're going to do is just go around, film a little montage, and now put together something at the very end of this video to kind of show you what the day was all about. And remember, it's all been shot on the phone and that GoPro that you're looking at. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, keep living your North Prairie life.